What a difference.
Yeah, thank God.
Right, right. I do have my headphones in this time, so I don't know. Is it is it picking up background noise or what?
A little. It's not bad. In case you
Okay.
didn't get the notification, we're actually live now. So it just started a couple seconds ago, but I didn't want to start at 9:04.
Right. Okay. Yep, I see us.
Okay, so we can maybe have some rambling conversation for a minute or two. Well, somebody showed up, so who gets to be the lucky person to get all the attention
Unless
today?
unless that's me, I'm not sure.
Oh, it said 0 people at first, though.
Well, no, because I came in. I'm checking on my phone.
Okay, could be that.
But I didn't actually. I just went in the group, so
Okay.
this might be the wrong type of rambling to have at the beginning. But
Okay, let me tell you something that got me steamy yesterday, and it'll take 2 minutes to say, and then we'll actually have pertinent conversation. In another group that I was forcefully, what do you call it? I was forced into being a member of. You know how someone adds you to the group.
sorry,
What's that?
sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. They had, like Lamar does, they had a post your promotions here kind of deal. And I posted a link for the group, whatever, and somebody else put, like, so you can put your flyer. So somebody put a flyer that had the name of their company, which is so obscure you don't know what it is. Until you're told what it is, then it makes sense. And I just put a comment like, you know, ooh, what's this? Like, I'm not really excited, but I'm kind of trying to get you to tell me what it is. And the lady told me what it was, or she commented what it was. So, okay, that's cool. But nobody would know from your little ad. Then another dude did the same thing. His thing said, I hope he didn't show up this conversation. I'm pretty sure he's not in our group. He said, you know, stop working full time and start living full time or something like that. That's it. And it's like a picture of a beach or something. And I commented to him, like, how does somebody learn more? And he took that as a reason to start harassing me about selling me whatever. And I said, dude, I'm not actually interested. I'm just saying you can't even call it an ad. It's just a sentence. You know, and he said, well, I'm not trying to get everybody, but if you're interested, you got some time, I'll send you a link right now. Like, dude, you're not getting what I'm saying to you, and I'm not going to spend all day saying it to you. You know, you have to give somebody a reason to respond and a way to respond. And he says, I understand what you're saying, but you know, why don't you just let me send you a link? And I said, you know what, I'm good, man. Leave me alone because you're an idiot. But you know, like, people do that, right? The things that they think qualify as an ad or promotion, they really aren't. That's number one. And number two is they don't want to listen. I could have said, dude, I've made a lot of people a lot more money than you'll make in this business that you're in, because I can tell now what it is by the way you talking to me.
Right.
Some of the people in that business make money. You're not going to be one of them. But I didn't decide to flex on them. I just said, hey, have a good day, man. That's it. Anyway.
What was the group?
Oh, crap.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, well, I don't want to. Tiger Toledo's group, which is No Sleep Till Success. I don't know if you know Tiger, but he's in Lamar's group also.
Okay. All right. And so and I should have said, what kind of group is it? And I was just thinking about who's in the group and what would they know about, posting ads? Because obviously the two ads that you saw weren't, didn't have that much education or knowledge about posting ads or persuasion or anything.
Right. And I'm not, I don't mean to belabor this point. It's a business related or a success related group. So these are people who are entrepreneurial minded.
Okay.
I believe. I don't mean to criticize their copy, but mostly that people are not getting great information or education out here, and they don't want to listen to the experts. So I say that to say, if you show up on if you show up on a call like this and you decide that you're just going to listen and not take any insights away, you're not going to apply anything. You're wasting your time, and you're probably going to make me mad. No reason you have to care about that, but it's like, dude, I'm trying to help you out. I understand what you're saying, but all right, it's fine, whatever.
So we got a couple of people
Good.
that showed up. I don't. So Brianna's here. Brianna was the first one to show up, and so for
All right.
those who are watching the replay or who have just joined us, I don't think that's not Monique. That's not the Monique we know, right? Oh, I don't. Can you see? You can't see who joined, huh? Okay.
There may be a way for me to hack it, but I can't see it from here.
Okay. No worries. So, Brianna, we are. Yeah, we'll get excited. We're going to use your business, whatever you decide. Brianna, you have to remind us of what you do.
Or which of your business ventures you feel like
You want to plug in.
plugging in.
Yeah. So let us know. We're going to talk about some things we saw on Shark Tank last night, and how we can tie in some of what we saw to Brianna's business, to her emails.
Yeah, and if anybody else listening, you just got to think about how to spin it to your own usage.
Yep. Thinking about how does this apply to me?
Yep. Because most of these things are going to be like plug and play kind of things.
Okay. Pin living color.
Sorry. I'm trying to see if I can see this thing from my phone better than I can from the thing. Never mind. I will just go with it. If y'all want my attention, y'all don't have to leave a comment. That's all. Okay, so Bree says, I have an online gift shop called Pin Living Color that sells accessories, clothes, and home goods focused on 90s pop culture, mainly black pop culture. I actually checked that out yesterday after the email that you left, or that you showed us in the group. I said, what is Pin Living Color? That's kind of cool. So I think your merchandise is really hot. It's cool. Hot and cool, it's both.
I have to check it out.
Yeah, you need to do that. Matter of fact, that might be a good thing to do now if you're thinking. But okay, so we'll get into the Shark Tank angle. Hey, by the way, where do you get that merchandise? Or is it? How do you do that? I'm just curious. So anybody watching the video, just bear with me for a second because I want to know this. Maybe I should ask out.
Does this count as pop culture? I don't know if this is.
Something. I think they said Frozen is the highest grossing Disney movie of all time, so it's probably pop. Okay, Bree's got some drop shipping going on. That's cool. Okay. So Conrad, start the conversation about how last night's Shark Tank was a rerun, right? But I thought it was pretty interesting.
You said it was a rerun?
I'm pretty sure they said it was a rerun.
Okay. Yes, I never saw it, but
me neither.
So the first one, I think I missed a couple of minutes. Sandilake Clothing.
Yeah.
I will say a couple of things I got from there. Let's see. She had some cute kids helping her, passing out her stuff. And
that works to get people win people's hearts over, from experience.
Exactly. And so actually right away with Pen Living Color, it may help to even have some kids as models modeling the accessories, clothes, and home goods. Um, Obviously, that's not writing per se, but that does affect, whatever people are seeing does affect your writing. So we'll get into your emails. Somebody talked about making sure she has to copyright her unique ideas. Oh, because she got her stuff stolen by Target or somebody at Target. Um, I had to hear what else are you doing to drive traffic. No new followers equals pitch fatigue. Somebody mentioned that.
Yeah,
So
even said that.
okay, yeah. So continuing to build her list, and then the biggest thing that I took from it was indecisiveness. Indecisiveness lost her deal, or curiosity killed the cat, is what Barbara said. So if Brianna has a sale going on, you and she could have a timed sale going on because she's selling a physical product or an inventory, a limited quantity sale. Curiosity killed the cat and the deal, and tying in the story of how this lady had an offer from Barbara on the table. She decided she wanted to hear what Lori had to offer, and Lori actually didn't even have anything to offer. So, but Barbara said, if you hear her deal or something like that, I'm out. And she said, well, I really want to hear what Barbara has to say. What Lori has to say. And Lori said whatever she said. And she said, I'm not in this. This is not for me. And so Barbara had already said, I'm out. And Barbara said, curiosity killed the cat. And so she, to tie that in, if you have an offer going on, curiosity killed the cat and the deal. You tell the story about how she lost the deal, and then you say, if you go check out other offers, or if you go do something else before you snatch this up, this deal will be gone, just like Barbara was out on the other deal, or something. You tie that in.
Right. It's happened before in a retail location or on Amazon or whatever. It happens to my wife every other day. She's telling me about something she put in the shopping cart. Went to go do a load of laundry or whatever. She comes back. Oh, it's not there anymore. Like, you just buy it when you see something you want to buy. So anyway, that could be the same, especially when you have that real scarcity, not the fake stuff we were talking about before. Then you can say, really do have to buy this. I've got this many, and you're not going to want to have that feeling that you've had. You're getting ready to rock your new coffee mug to the meeting that you want to have as a conversation starter, whatever. And you're going to be salty if you come back. So don't let curiosity kill the cat. Don't let it kill your opportunity to get this merchandise.
Yep. Yeah. And like you said, the time-based scarcity we talked about. And I'm still more of the, what do we call it? What was it? Yeah, time. Yeah, that is time-based. Yeah, so that's just another way to pitch that time-based scarcity. So again, we go back to Frank's emails. That could have been another angle that he came at with, on the time-based scarcity versus just saying, "Hey, get this deal. There's 200 of them or something."
I said 220, and I doubt if he sold all of them or gave all of them away. Not because Frank isn't a genius, just he let me know that he couldn't get rid of these things. Whatever. Much love to Frank Kern in all of his craziness. He's doing his thing, which is what I admire, and I think he's a brilliant person and maybe a little bit greasy, but that's cool. One of the things that I thought on that is when the lady, I wish I knew her name, but she said her sales numbers were 360,000 or something, and the bulk of that came from that Target fiasco. And they said, well, how does that work? Well, we went viral, and a lot of people picked up my stuff. But the idea there is you're succeeding by accident. She didn't manufacture that. She can't replicate that, and that's a problem. So, how does that apply to Brianna? I don't know, but whatever it is that we're doing has to be
On
repeatable,
purpose.
systematic, and intentional. So just
It
think
goes
about
back to that. I was gonna say that old quote: "Success is not an accident."
it. Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't know exactly how to tie that into the physical thing. So forgive me for under delivering on that point. But if you're just telling a story in your emails, I can see on my screen I look like my internet connection is terrible, which is so bad. I'm sitting right next to my router, but when you're telling stories, you can tell a story about how things happen by accident. And interestingly, even if you're selling physical products, there's stories behind all of that. And your brand, there's a story behind your brand, and there's a story behind you as the founder of the brand or whoever your spokesperson is. So you can always find a story about, how something happened accidentally, and you don't
There you go.
live your life. That's not how you get where you want to go. Is hoping that Target will steal your design, or some third party will steal your design, and you'll get lucky by. And if she didn't see it, they may have put her out of business.
Right.
So there's that. Somebody saw it, and then they were able to get on top of it. So protect your ideas. Being a good designer doesn't accomplish. That doesn't build a business. It doesn't ensure success. The same thing is true. Being a good copywriter doesn't ensure success, or being a good whatever. It doesn't ensure success. There's much more going on, especially if you're building a business. You have to be able to figure out aspects. So again, how does that apply to Thin Living Color and your emails? I don't know. Maybe I'll think about it and tell you later.
Well, maybe actually, if Brianna can type in who are her customers, because we know what she sells. We know what she sells and the theme, but who are the buyers, and we can move on, and we'll try to tie that in as well. You want to touch on the next one?
I like it better when you started, so you start.
All right, cool. Parker's 100% Real Maple. A young kid. I didn't take a whole lot from it, but the unique maple butter. Somehow I talked about the American dream, or I wrote that down.
Oh yeah.
Never over till their check clears your bank. And your projections built on optimism, which is actually so. The first lady, her projections were kind of built on delusion, because her stuff was, again, the biggest success she had was by accident. And then his projections were totally built on optimism. I'm going to do 1.5 million based on me getting into 75 Costco stores, but there's no sign that I'm actually getting into 75 Costco stores. And I got from Mark, basically the kid needed to highlight what was unique about his product, and he could double the price of it. He had this little cotton candy tub that was
Right.
$1.50, and it was 114 calories. And so
Right.
the main thing there, I think, you got to really highlight what's unique about your product, what makes it different, and make that the thing. It's the whole concept of the big idea. Make that or extracting a big idea, um, make that the thing that you actually highlight. I saw Brianna said my customers are 25 to 34-year-old women, primarily black women, people who grew up watching shows like Martin, Fresh Prince, which is funny. This is exactly what I was thinking in my mind. People watching Fresh Prince and Martin, listening to Aaliyah, movies like Friday, probably because I'm in that age range.
Right.
Um,
No, it's
uh,
funny, man. I've been watching. There's been what do you call it? Like marathons of In the House. You remember that show with LL
oh
Cool
yeah,
J?
uh-huh.
You've been watching a lot of episodes of In the House. It's like it feels like the '90s all over again.
Yep, yep. On well, never mind. We'll talk. Yeah, we watch Fresh Prince, and sometimes Martin. Sometimes Martin can get a little not appropriate for the kids, um,
Yeah,
but yeah, we've been watching that stuff too.
yeah.
Uh,
We watch Martin a lot when it's on, uh, but it's
so
always in the evening time. We don't even watch TV together until the kids are in bed. Like we really don't do much of that because we're always busy chill time. And then see if Martin's on or whatever. That's a side note for Brianna and everybody else listening. You just have to deal with it.
and so for Brianna, one thing is to take, to find your highlight, what's unique about your product, or excuse me, well, I guess, yeah, that is your highlight, but highlight your highlight. What is unique about your store? What is unique about Penn Living Color? And speaking of Penn Living Color, are you marketing on Pinterest? Nothing to do with copywriting, I guess, but that could be a big hit for you. Um, so, what's unique about your product? Highlight that, and think about where these 25 to 34-year-olds are. You could send them non-marketing emails as well to relate with them. So the story about the story that Donnie was just saying about the lady and uh, um, what was it? Anyway, somehow that story. Go back and listen to that story that Donnie just talked about. They might be able to relate to that in their career because they're 25 to 34 years old. A lot of these people are probably, establishing themselves in a career. And somehow the story that you just told, that I can't remember what it was, I think
Even I
relates to
don't
that.
remember.
So that's what happens when yeah, that's okay.
You're on the high pressure stage. Yeah.
No, actually, that happens to me in everyday life. So it's all good.
You know what I got, and I think pretty well because what you said about emails rather than marketing emails, you should definitely be sending things, not just when you're selling stuff, although you can sell stuff and everything, but send
Hmm.
emails to build a relationship and a connection and to build a backstory into what you're doing. And this might also apply to the copy on the website. I didn't go in there deep enough to see, if you have product descriptions that, whatever, I didn't look closely enough, but remember how Kevin says, back in the day, I was Maple Man. You remember this?
Hmm.
He said, when I was in college, I was in that business and I was Maple Man. And that became the theme for the rest of that segment. And so his backstory it added that much more intrigue and pertinence, relevance to the pitch. Like the kids probably said, "Oh, I got a guy who understands what I need. I got to understand who knows how to, and a man who's probably interested because we have a shared interest. And in this business of yours, you have a shared interest. You can hardly imagine. You probably know this because you're a writer, but you can hardly imagine the value of having shared common history, shared values, and shared interests with your audience. People so often they'll want to read your email just to have a little taste of the nostalgia that you bring, or they have a touch point with you. They understand you. They're more easily persuaded by you. They're more likely to know, like, and trust you and buy from you ultimately. And your emails can, every once in a while, or maybe all the time, tell some of those backstories. Tell some 90s stories of your own. When you had, beads in your hair and whatever, wearing jeans backwards or whatever. And your audience, who is you, they're gonna remember. They're gonna laugh. Remember, like Lauryn Hill did this song, "Looking Back." You remember that on Miseducation, and she's naming all these little things that happened. Doing the WAP and all that stuff. And you're like, oh, I remember that. I remember that. Flipping on the dirty mat. Almost that's a different song. But that's what that song is cool because it sounds cool, but it also takes you there. It takes you back. You remember. So I think that those emails are going to be fun to read. They're going to be fun to write, and they're going to be the kind of things that keep people opening and reading. Not just okay, what is she trying to sell today? Although they may really want to know that and really want to see that, because it seems like you're not selling them life insurance, which nobody wants to hear about. You're selling cool merchandise that they'll at least want to take a look at. But then when you add these stories in there, and you can tell personal stories, you can tell stories that that pertain to the people who the merchandise is based on, if it's Fresh Prince or whatever, and tell your own backstory. And that's really going to touch with people and give you a million ideas. Next time you turn on Martin, you say, "Oh man, this is the I remember." Something that y'all will probably crack up at, or how we say things, what might be called a dog whistle. You can say something like I quote Kings of Comedy much more often than I probably should. But most of the people I hang out with know that movie well enough to know what I'm saying, and I don't even have to tell the joke for them to get the punchline. So the same thing is going to be true for you, Brianna. You got so many touch points that make it infinitely easy to come up with something that they'll understand without even you try. You have to convince them. They'll just get it. They'll be interested in that. And then your own backstory, like I said, I think that's really interesting. If you tell a story about yourself, then you're building yourself with a person that they want to know better and hang out with.
Donnie, I gave you some hearts there because obviously anybody else tuning in, this is After Shark Saturdays. We are going through the things we saw on Shark Tank last night and how we can tie that into your email copy. And today we've been actually just tying into Brianna's business in general. Brianna was the first one here, so we are tying it in specifically to her business, but be sure to listen and see how you can adapt it to your business. Aside from what we saw on Shark Tank last night, I think the biggest thing for Brianna is actually going to be tying in those things, like you said, those things that connect us, all of those people in that age range, those things that connect people to the 90s. And so, there's plenty of stories from Fresh Prince seasons 1 through however many seasons. Martin, all those shows, there's plenty of stories from there that she can tie in, and it continues to build that connection. And so whatever the theme is of whatever you are selling, if you're not Brianna, find that common theme among you and the buyers and see what resources you can grab stories from in order to continue to build the relationship and be able to make your offers. So we can go on to the next. The next one was the SafeGrabs. Or did you have something else to say about the Real Maple?
I don't remember where that Kevin O'Leary segment was. Remember when he was talking about growing up?
Yeah.
And Kevin O'Leary cried on camera. He cried.
Was it real?
Probably a subject line in there somewhere. But what was it that made him cry? Looking at his own origin story or Genesis story or whatever you want to call it. He's looking back at, my father, he'd be so proud of me. And when I think about what he gave up for me, we talked about this last week with Dave and John, same thing.
Yep.
But so many people have stories about their own relationships with their fathers or their mothers or the person who played father or mother for them. And if you tell yours, somebody else who has a similar experience, they connect with you like that, and you reach a level of like connection with them that you can't do with marketing copy as such. You
Right.
can't persuade somebody into feeling the way that you will when you share an experience with them. You know, if they have the same experience, now you feel like your brothers or your sisters or your best buddies, or like your POW camp survivors together. So look for opportunities to share stories from your own past. If they make you, bust up in tears, they'll do the same thing for somebody else if you tell it. If you tell it right, somebody else who has the same experience might do the same. And I think, we'll move. I think, Bree, you could write about, or not write. You could do videos, just random videos, like don't even have to be about a product, but just telling '90s stories on Facebook Live or on Instagram or on whatever they do these days. I don't know, a video platform, and just to be that the '90s girl, and you tell a story. It doesn't have anything to do with product, and you'll begin to get an audience if you develop the storytelling. You'll begin to develop an audience of people who like you for you. Now they're interested in what you have to offer because they like you.
A couple of quick nuggets from Kevin's little segment. Is Kevin mean or just telling the truth? And so if Brianna has a personal story, either a personal story herself or a story from a '90s show, was Martin being mean or just telling the truth about Pam's DVDs? And let's see. He also talked about business being about the pursuit of freedom and how the journey is remarkable. He said he doesn't care about your feelings; he cares about your money. Uncle Phil didn't care about your feelings; he cared about your well-being, or whatever. You find something in there. Just some little templates for Brianna to pull out, or anybody else. Is so and so mean or just telling the truth? They don't care about your feelings. They care about your whatever. Or they don't care about your blank. They care about your blank.
Pretty good right there.
So, what'd you say?
Everybody's writing that down.
Yeah, and if they get into the membership later on, in a couple, actually, 10 days? I don't know, a couple of maybe 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah, well, they can have all this stuff written down for them. SafeGrabs was the next pitch that we had. I like how she pitched it like an infomercial. She had multiple purposes. This fun presentation. She was funny. Lori talked about being willing to work 80 hours per week to avoid working 40. And that's something if Brianna has any entrepreneurial-minded people in her audience, something to talk about that we hear a lot. Her thing was a product and not a business. I did like how the contrast so this lady actually negotiated, and she gave up 25% of her business in order to become a millionaire, where the lady from last week that we talked about didn't even think about negotiating.
Right.
And so I'm not sure how that ties into Brianna's business, but being willing to negotiate in order to become a millionaire.
This is this crazy idea, and shoot me down if you like. But what if you had like you have these pay what you want kind of offers? What if you had like a make me a deal kind of thing? What do you think you want to pay for this? You know where what your costs are, and if you gave people a chance to offer you something other than the retail price for like a weekend, retail is $25, but let's negotiate. You tell me, what do you want to pay for this? And then you can tell them no or not. You may have 1,000 people in your inbox that you have to deal with, or your team has to deal with. Maybe that might be an interesting way to engage them. Or it might be a crazy way.
She might be able to, I don't know if you can set that up in Shopify. But yeah, if you can set that up in Shopify, it might be worth a test. Test out a pay what you want thing. And of course, you can always, when you do pay what you want in other platforms, I know you can set a minimum. So, and sometimes if you look at Tom Morkus, I know he said, he's had people pay more than he would have even asked for some things that he has set up on Pay What You Want. So,
Yeah. I just interrupted your train of thought, but I thought that's a way you could maybe tie that in. Let's go.
There's like one big bonus going to the store.
Where do you want to come in on this offer?
It's like, okay, I'm gonna give you this much.
oh, so she can do it in WooCommerce. I didn't even ask what platform she was using. She said you can do it in Woo, but not, or she's not sure if you can do it in Shopify. So that may be something worth testing. I didn't have anything else from the SafeGrabs.
What I got, which you touched on, but the way Lori said, I say this every season, and I make millionaires. That's what I do. So that sounds like, if you just said I'm making millionaires, that's what I do. For somebody in a business or marketing, selling marketing advice, that's a subject line by itself. You might put it in quotations so nobody thinks that you're trying to make a claim. But if you say I do blank, that's what I do. Like, know exactly what business you're in and communicate that in as appealing a way as possible. Like in this case, like none of these other things matter. After Lori says, I can make you a millionaire, you might as well get most of your company. I don't want to take you out of the business. I want to take you out of your parent house.
Right.
Again, how I feel to Brianna, I don't know exactly, but if I'm in the business of taking you out of, Trumplandia, like the email that you sent. Like I know it's kind of a bummer day for some of you, and I'm going to give you a taste of the better days, the fun days, the carefree days, and make that a touch point. There might be something intriguing there. And I think the same thing is probably true for me. I didn't really take too much away.
But yeah, that's good. Maybe for Brianna, the nostalgia of the items that she's selling, can, I don't know, this may be, something it can take, you may be feeling down or it might be gloomy time or whatever. And nostalgia will bring back good memories for you or something like that.
Even watch this. Even if you had an inauguration day playlist, it doesn't have anything to do with selling your merchandise. But what it will do is give you a great reason to send a message, a great reason for people to open, a great connection between you, and again you're creating an experience for your audience. And
remember the good old days.
Right. That's what they're going to value from you is like you're constantly making me feel positive feelings. You're constantly taking me away from the things in my day that bug me and bringing me back to some of the funnest memories that I have. That's 10 songs to listen to on Inauguration Day or afterwards. I'm not making political commentary, but I know that there's a lot of people who feel like breaking windows or burning cars as a result of this thing.
Right.
So like, how do I calm you down in a fun way? How do I bring you back to level, in a way that pertains to what I'm doing? And some of the feel good joints from the 90s might be it. Oh, and by the way, I'm selling Big Daddy Kane, necklaces for 50% off all week or something. Big Daddy Kane is a little bit more 80s maybe. Whatever, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So hopefully Brianna got something from that. There was definitely some seeds planted in there. Before we get to the last presenter, if you're just tuning in, we are just after Shark Saturdays. We are taking some things that we saw from Shark Tank last night and tied them into your email copywriting. And today we actually are tying it into your business in general. So we're specifically focusing on Brianna's Pen Living Color store, where she sells 90s accessories, clothes, and home goods. And so pay attention, and you can tie some of this stuff into what you're doing. So the last pitch was Silly Dog. And I'll be at the first, I thought it was pretty silly, and until the sharks started asking their questions, that made sense. But I haven't had a dog since I was I haven't had a dog for like over 10 years. And I'm from the South and from the country. And so we didn't treat our dogs like a lot of people do today. I mean, we didn't have house dogs and stuff like that. So,
or dog tag.
right, right. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I only had one dog that ever had a dog tag, and that was the dog I had when I was older. And I had a lot of dogs. Anyway, so pet tag. I thought pet tags jingling being annoying, and I guess you had to watch it to see that. It was a guy, he made silicone pet tags, customizable silicone dog tags, and the problem he was solving was that the pet tags jingling were annoying and they faded. And so I didn't. The sharks started asking questions, and I guess they saw some value in it. The things that I saw, I actually got two things from the commercials during that time.
You pay too much attention.
Huh?
You be paying attention. I always forget and just fast forward through the commercial.
I know, but actually, no. I would have missed these two little templates if I had fast forwarded through the commercials. Before he gets to the commercials, he had his dog with him, and I think I don't know if he got offers. Yeah, he ended up getting something.
Yeah,
But what it was
recall, I think like nobody seemed interested except Robert. Robert
yeah.
made him an offer. It was like 50%.
Right. Oh,
Lord
and then
said, "I'll
Barbara
give
came
you
back
what
in.
you want for 51%." Barbara says, "You know what? I'm coming back in, and I'll do 30%, but I need
Plus
$2 per."
Mhm.
And then Kevin got in. When he did it, I sensed he's just doing this to screw with
Yes.
the whole
Yep.
process. I'm gonna get in, and I'm going to take Barbara right back out of this by slashing the number. And then I think, did Barbara make another one and went back and forth? Robert came in, changed his offer. Anyway, he ended up walking out with Lori's offer.
So pay attention to that story if you're tuning in. Rewind that and hear how the different people came in with different offers, and then they started coming in with lower offers, and he had to make a decision quick. And then at the end, somebody said, I think it was Kevin, decide before the dog dies.
Yeah.
And so that's your line from that. And that could be the subject line in itself. If you have an offer, again, a time scarcity offer, decide before the dog dies. You tie in that story, because he had his old dog with him. A young kid had his old dog with him in the Shark Tank, and he needed to make a decision on picking the deal before his dog died.
That is funny.
And you need to take me up on this offer before your dog dies, or before this offer is gone.
Right.
And so that was what I got from the actual pitch. Decide before the dog dies. Brianna said dog people go hard in the paint, and I know you're right. Absolutely, one of the biggest niches out there. From the commercials, there was some commercial, I think it was a cough medicine. It said if you could see your cough, you'd see all the sickness you're spreading. It's never just a cough. And so if you could see your blank, you'd see all the blanket spreading. It's never just a blank. Uh, there's some things you can there's some things you can tie in from that. The Halo Oranges commercial I got. Sometimes the right choice is easy. These two little kids, they asked this kid if they wanted to go play at the construction site. He decided to sit back and eat his Halo Orange. And after school, he was walking by the construction site. He had his Halo Orange in his hand. And the other two kids were stuck in a big cement block. And so sometimes the right choice is easy. You got to think about how to tie that into whatever it is you're offering. You know, these fresh prints. Actually, these Olaf sweaters. These Olaf sweaters are on sale today for $15, and then normally $34. Sometimes the right choice is easy. Get it before it goes back up to $34.
That's funny. Yeah, you know what? I thought that the dog angle was interesting too. Of course, as we mentioned, the dog market is one that's very active. They can buy, and like you said, maybe not. They won't even buy dog shampoo, but you know the core buyers, which is who you always have to think about, are really passionate about taking care of the dog. They buy you may have seen these. They have dog houses that cost thousands of dollars. Or they have dog hotels where, like, instead of like I'm going out of town, I'm going to take my dog to be watched, and they have like concierge service and all this junk for dogs, which just goes to show, you know, you want to go for an audience that has passion about their thing. You want to sell something that they're passionate about, and that there's buyers out there that are willing to pay more than you may think, more and more frequently than you may think. And when you find your heavy users, like if you have people who buy from you multiple times, give them special attention. And people who don't buy from you as often, you give them regular attention. But people also, I think, like to be acknowledged when they're continually, patronizing you, and then you recognize that, like people like to be recognized. But the dog story, like when the guy came out, he said, "I rescued this dog. Somebody threw him out of the car on the highway." And did you hear this? And somebody found
I totally missed that.
Yeah, he said that's the dog's story. So I adopted him, or it was a rescue dog. And just that point right there, telling the backstory, the emotionally powerful. This dog got. If you love dogs, and now I'm telling you about how this dog got tossed, cruelly out of a car on the highway. You could see the movie in your head playing, the dog thrown out of the car. And now you really want to see how the story goes. You want to see, that's an email you're going to read all the way to the end.
Right. Two things. I got two things from that. So the stories that you tell, because Donnie, you referenced stories several times during this broadcast. You want it to be emotionally tugging, and so something that either might make people cry or something that might make people laugh, there's all kind of other emotions, but those two things usually help make a better story. This is making me cry. This is making me laugh. Brianna said her dog goes to doggy daycare, which one of my best friends, actually two of my best friends, their dogs do the same thing. And so I know people definitely care about their dogs. It reminded me of the part of his story, how he sells his items. And so he partners up with pet stores and maybe daycares too, I don't know. Because I know I've been in doggy daycare when I went to pick up my friend's dog, and they do sell things in there. It's like they have a storefront. And so for Brianna, anybody else watching as well, think about who are your potential partners that you could partner up with that already service your customers. And so if there are any, you know, 90s funny or I don't know, any 90s Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts or whoever, you could actually grab stories from them. You could have an affiliate relationship set up with your products through them, and so that way he was able to the dog tag guy was able to sell a lot of product before he even produced it. He did on demand. He basically drop shipped just like you, Brianna. And so being able to have those relationships, those affiliate relationships, gets you in front of more people quicker than you could get in front of them yourself. Goes back to what Mark said. You know, if you have traffic, let's see, no new followers equals pitch fatigue. And so you could tell the same story that you tell to your email list to 10 other people's email lists, and make the same offer that you make to your direct audience to 10 other people's audiences.
And interestingly, you'd be surprised. You may not be surprised, but you know how you can tie things in that don't immediately seem related. Like, you know who your audience is. It doesn't have to be necessarily 90s related stuff. Just where are black women hanging out in your age range. And Dan Kennedy said, I guess I can't go a doggone broadcast without saying it. You know, he says it's easier to find a new audience than to write a new speech. So when you find a message that works really well, you know, you don't have to come up with new content. I mean, you do have to come up with new content. Don't get me wrong, but like if you find a new audience, now you've multiplied, amplified, you know, the range of that piece that you've got honed in really well. If you pay attention to some of these people who are aggressive affiliate marketers, like if you're ever on anybody's launch, you see somebody's launch and they've got 20 different people or 50 different people, Ryan Levesque or whoever, they all are basically saying the same thing. They go on webinars, they do 10 webinars, Danny Inney does the same thing, 20 webinars, 30 webinars, and the webinar is the same every time. And even if you're delivering it live, it's the same script. But it's just in front of new audiences all the time. And they may overlap, but you don't really worry about that. And like I've seen, Daniel Levis has been doing the same script for at least 2 years, word for word.
Yeah. Yep.
He even tells the same joke.
Yeah, it's like you said.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, it definitely has been at least 2 years for that, and that is a classic. If you look at when Tony Robbins released his last book, and he has a new book coming out, actually, you know, he hit the podcast circuit. You know, it was virtually the same story every time. Damon John and you know Hal doing over 200 podcasts. And so if you look at these people that have a huge audience already, you think if anybody doesn't really need to promote their book outside of their audience, Tony Robbins, why would he need to go to somebody else's audience? You know, he already has a humongous audience, but he still went to somebody else's audience to promote his stuff. And so, you know, if Tony needs to if Damon John decides to do it, then why would we think that we don't need to get in front of other people's audiences?
That's good. So yeah, Bree, you can think about that. And there's an email list. There's social media accounts. If you have, you know, do the podcast circuit or whatever. I don't know how that would pertain directly. Maybe it would just to get out there and get in front of people. If you got a cool message for people.
Yeah, you find, I think everybody, you know, anybody else on here, you know, podcasts might apply to your email list, whatever. Brianna, you know, you find whatever medium applies to you, wherever your audience is. Like you said, it doesn't have to be, like Donnie said, it doesn't have to be specifically about 90s stuff, but wherever your audience is, um, you go there and hit it as hard as possible.
Yep, that's good. So we've covered all the different pitches, right?
Yes. Yep.
It only took
Covered
an
all.
hour to do it.
So yeah, I got another, another date this morning.
Ooh,
So
that's cool. We're having a late breakfast, so I can make time for this. But yeah, so I think we'll wrap it up and we'll get it in under an hour. But anybody who is watching this now, I mean, there's only a few of us, or if you're checking out the replay, love to have this conversation happening in the group. I'm pretty happy with the engagement that's happening in the group now. There's people with, standing up and actually posting in the group questions and comments or whatever, which is great because you need some information, you want some feedback, ask for it, look for it, and that way I don't have to do it all day.
no, we got some great copywriters in the group, and so for those that are trying to improve their copywriting skills, definitely don't be afraid to ask, like Donnie said, because we got some great people in there. We'll try to get some more of them engaged as well, and of course we'll be in there as well. But yeah, there's plenty of people in there that can help out, and then we'll continue to. We might continue to do this, the After Shark Saturdays here in the open group. It may turn into something else in the membership later on, and so yeah, we'll see what the feedback is like, what people want. Brianna, if this was valuable for you, I know Tani, was it Tani last week? Tani, we ended up working a lot of this with Tani last week, and I know she said she was able to definitely get some things from it, and so we'll figure that out in the next 10 days, I guess, 2 weeks
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say, and we haven't said anything about it, but like if you have people who should be in the group that feel free to do this for me. Don't just add them to the group. Like if you had the little thing, I don't know why Facebook does it. Add them to the group, puts them in the group, and we have to approve it. But if you tell them, you can send the link, share it as a message with them, and say, hey, I think you should be in this group. That way they have the option to join or not, rather than feeling like they got thrown in the back of a black van with a bag over their head. And now they're in this group that I didn't ask to be in. You don't like it when it happens to you. And although they'll probably love the group and they can leave whenever they want, do me a favor and invite people, because we want to be helpful to as many people as possible. The more people we have in the group, up to some level, I'm sure, the better the interaction will be, the more feedback you can get, and the more expertise there you have access to. So if you know anybody who you think would enjoy being in the group and would bring value to the group, send them the link and tell them to check us out.
We'll make it as easy as possible for you. That's probably in Copywriting 101. Make it as easy as possible for you to copy and paste a little script that you can send to people if you want. We'll pin that in a pinned post. I want to include that thrown in the back of a black van with a bag over your head. Being as
You can have
really talking about being boss. So,
that.
yeah.
We want to maybe do that to people, but not for the purposes of this group. My copy will throw you in the back of a van with a bag over your head, take you to an undisclosed location.
Right.
That's the idea. But yeah, like I really appreciate the interaction we've had, and I'd like to see see it get better and better. So you can help us out by inviting your friends.
Yeah, so if you know anybody, any other small business entrepreneurs like yourself that are that are
They
Oh,
kicked him
okay.
out. That's terrible. You disappeared, Conrad.
Okay. I
I thought
think
they were going to give us like a time limit and say it's been an hour. Now we're just turning the broadcast off. But
I think
apparently
we're
that's not the
back.
case. Yeah, I think so. It says live.
Okay, so just really quick, if anybody else like you, small business entrepreneur selling products online, services online that wants to sell better through your emails, build better relationships through your emails, invite them over to the group, go to the pinned post. I guess I need to change that today. Go to the pinned post and we'll have a little, maybe a script there for you to copy and paste, send them a message, and say, hey, come on over to the group. Or if you're friends, my Facebook friends list is not full of business owners. I think I have more business owners now, but this is however many years old. But anyway, if your friends list is full of people, business owners, feel free to post it on your profile. But maybe make it a little more intimate, by sending them a message and saying, hey, join us over here. We got some great people like Brianna Ford, Monique Mayers, Chuck McKay, and everyone else.
You start to insult people. Like there's a lot of great people in the group, and there's a few
No,
people who I need to like poke them and get them. I'm not gonna poke them, but like you're in the group, and I'd like to Kamari, for example. I'm gonna call him out by name because he knows
right.
better. Like, dude, come in here and interact, and
I just
could be
call
in,
those names
could
out
be in the
because
chat.
they just tuned in, and so they'll have to catch the replay. But
Oh, okay. Well, hey, look, everybody tags like the Dan Meredith thing where he said everybody make a hashtag and mention this dude.
yes,
Everybody
oh
say quit being shady, Kamari or some junk. We'll come up with something hilarious, and that way he'll have to show up.
yeah, yeah. All right, man. Well, this was good. Brianna says she got a lot from it.
Good. The bill is in the mail, by the way.
Yeah, send us invoices in your inbox.
And when
All
your
right,
check clears our bank,
right.
you know,
Once once the
play
check clears the bank, we'll send you the recording and the transcripts.
exactly. Hey, okay, very good.
All
So
right,
we're
man.
gonna go get it. Have fun on your date and your meeting today. Direct response invoice. Yes, Chuck. We're gonna do exactly that. So yeah, have
Chuck,
fun
have
on
a
your
safe
date.
trip back home.
Are you back home, Chuck?
Thought he was in Florida. I thought. I just told his whole business slide. Well, it's only a couple. Well,
That's gonna be that. All right, let's get out of
all
here.
right, man. Talk to you soon. All right,
Later.
peace.